Alright, so welcome to another video from the chart readers. If you haven't already, please subscribe on YouTube. It really is the fastest way to get all the notifications of my videos. Again, these aren't financial advice, but if you're using these videos, ideally you're learning a new way to just watch the price move and hopefully anticipate what will be coming, right? So today we're going to review the EV sector. We actually haven't done this in about a week. The last video was actually on 8/10. So I'll review basically from 8/10 to today and then go onward, hopefully, right? We normally start with the biggest player, and that is Tesla in this EV world, right? So we will start with Tesla. We're looking at the daily. Again, these are our moving averages up here, the 8, the 20, the 50, 100, and 200, and then the colors respectfully. And then these are some resistance and support lines that I draw manually, right? From there, we'll use these lower indicators afterwards. But again, I generally say about 80% of the work is up here, and then I kind of use this down here as my like confirmation, right? Okay, so let's get going on Tesla. So again, we made this video on the 10th, which was this day, right? So it's actually only been about 4 trading days. So what do we see, right? It actually looks like this line was pretty good, right? It actually dropped below the 8 and pretty much just under the line, right? Again, not necessarily perfect, but it gives you an idea of where it might fall, right? From there, the good thing was this line only was kind of a small test, right? So I'm going to go back even a little bit further. Here we broke this line. It made its way actually to break the 200 and then pretty much come down, right? That's a pretty common thing. You break a moving average, you work your way down, and then hopefully you get the momentum to just kind of go back, right? Also, when this broke, the RSI was a little high, right? Look at that. It was literally at 89. So the last couple day pull down, let this RSI cool all the way to 50 something, and then boom, right? You get a nice little couple days. So this RSI is always important, right? I know I mention this often. Between the two of these, I do like the RSI a little bit more. So again, what are we looking at? Look, we're actually 2 days over this 200 line, right? That could be a nice little confirmation, and that might give a reason to think we'll go to this 954 line. I do wish the RSI was just a little more sloped up, right? It kind of looks like the green line's coming down. I still see the green over the red, which is good. But if this opens positive, literally, if it opens what 919, right? Something like that. I would hope that it keeps going up. At the very minimum, we do not want to lose that 200, right? So has to close above 907.84. So if you see on the left right there, average 200, 907.84. Do not go lower than that number, right? Otherwise, we're going to lose this 200. And that's not what we want. We want to bounce off the 200 and make our way up. So let's take a look at the weekly. Let's just see what the weekly looks like. Look, actually, the weekly is looking pretty bullish, right? RSI is not too high. We're still below 60, right? Again, 80 is the kind of the roof, give or take. It looks like green is sloping up while red is kind of lagging behind, and it's actually the similar view on the MACD, which is great. This is now the second week we're above the 50. Look, there's still a number of days between now and Friday, but I want to close above the 50 again, right? On the weekly, that's beautiful because that gives me, again, more confidence that, hey, maybe not this week, but maybe next week we'll close at this 954. But right now, it actually kind of looks like we're trying to fill this gap right here, right? That's really the thing, and this is on the weekly, right? So takes a couple more days, literally takes more weeks to get the next candles, but yeah, the weekly's looking good. So the daily might be a little choppy, but I like to see that that daily view as well, right? Give you a different perspective. So that's Tesla. We're not going to draw any new lines. Hopefully we hold the 200. Otherwise, you know, we could make our way down back to that, basically that 862 number you see there. So all right, Mullen. You've had some moments of up and then just, I don't know what you're trying to do here, but let's talk about Mullen. This 0.78 line was pretty money. You'll see we made this video when? On the 10th, right? So actually that was one of the last ones. You can kind of say that this day was another test of it, but basically it seems like it's now bounced off our line, come to this, actually hit the 20, It broke over it yesterday. It unfortunately closed below today, but yeah, let's see if we can regain the 20. Otherwise, look, we got to stay over the 8, right? This has been Mullen's issue. I haven't even felt there's been moments where Mullen has really owned the 8 moving average, right? We've seen it in other videos. If you get the 8, you can just ride that bad boy up. So Mullen, in my view, I need a break of this 968. You could almost make a new line right here if you want, this 92 cent. But again, 92 to 96 isn't that much room, right? So again, we're basically at 88 cents. It's going to take a little more than 10%, right? Actually, about 10% will take us to that line. But right now, immediately, two things need to happen. We need to hold above the 8. I'd love to hold above the 20, get 2-day confirmation over the 20. And then ultimately, let's break this line. Let's break this 0.96, because I would feel a little more comfortable in this channel than I am in this current channel down here. So Mullen not really looking great on the daily. So the weekly seems like it's picking up. And again, look, you can see what that 0.96 is. It's actually the 8 on the weekly, right? So I didn't know that on the other side, I'll be honest with you. But that just kind of re-emphasizes that the importance of that line. We haven't closed over the 8 on the weekly since here. What is this? Since the end of June, right? So we've been well, like this one you can see, we got up at points, but it closed right here, right? And this one came as high as here, but it closed right here, right? So definitely getting over the 8, especially on the weekly, let alone on the daily for a few, is big. Mullen, I know there's a lot of fans out there of Mullen. I'm not a hater. I just listen to the lines. That's really it. So LIDAR actually crushed earnings. So big ups to LIDAR. Let me zoom out because I needed to see everything, right? So again, we made this video on the 10th. Basically, the next 2 days, it tested this line right here, the 273. It also pretty much just rode the 8 really well. We got a nice break of the line, not quite a test of this 3, but you can see it was a pretty good line. I'm not too sure why it dropped 23% today. I'll be real honest with you. I'm not in this one, so I didn't even know it dropped 23%. That is pretty wild. How high was the RSI? So look, the RSI got to 84, right? I always say when the RSI hits 80, you should start to get look, when the RSI hits 75, I start to get pretty cautious, right? So do I expect a 23% drop if the RSI hits 88? No. You know, we've seen tickers on this video where they've actually surpassed 80s and hit 90s, right? But I have no idea why this big a drop happened. I will say we literally lost all of our moving averages, right? We lost the 8, we lost the 50, and we lost the 20. So, yeah, that's rough. Yeah, you see I put a line really based on this guy. And that's pretty much what saved us today. But I'm not going to draw a new line. Look, at this point, it actually seems like we might come down at 2.11. That really sucks. Hopefully, we can regain some of these tomorrow. Again, I don't know if there was news or if this was just some sort of wild blimp. Yeah, rough for holders. I'm not going to lie. Because this was looking bullish, right? Again, a high RSI should not equate to a quarter of the drop, right? That's pretty big, and that does suck there. EVGO. Ooh, EVGO is literally doing what we talked about, right? Riding this 8, man. There's nothing better than just a stock that can ride the 8 like that. So let me zoom out. Are we at the top line? No, we're not at the top line. So I'm not going to draw any new lines. But really, again, since we made this video, this was the 10th right here, right? Yeah. So we broke this line. It almost looked like it wanted to run to this line the next day, but it didn't. However, you can see a couple things, right? It's worrisome to see this big red candle, but there's a couple bullish things on this. One, we almost got caught by this 1028, right? It's not exact, but it was there. Two, we actually held this 200 moving average line, right? We didn't lose it this day. Also, we're actually above 50% candle. So I've mentioned 50% candle a couple times, and holding all of those actually is a pretty good bullish sign, right? Despite this big red candle. All that said, we got a really nice bounce. And again, this little movement right here, just kind of staying in this channel. But yeah, EVGO has done a pretty good job really since this point right here where it won the 8, basically held it, you know, gave up a little bit, but used this 20 to bounce and then go up, right? So EVGO looking good. Again, the RSI got to 83, right? Not quite 88, but 83, and there's no 23% drop, right? So again, I think LIDAR might have been some new stuff. I have no idea. But yeah, EVGO is actually still looking good. Let's take a look at the weekly. So again, I still like this weekly. I do. If it could crack 1241, that'd be great. If not, hey, at least it looks like we're at least playing in this channel right here. And look, we've talked about it. This is a gap right here, right? Number of reds in a row, especially in a weekly. Fill, right? There's nothing better than filling a gap. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing, you know. Cool. So EVGO doing well. Again, I could expect a little cool down, but so far we're riding the 8. That's what you want to do, right? VLDR. Okay, so same story here. Actually, look, again, I realize that there's a curve going down. So far, we've held this 100 right here, right? I see that the RSI has the green under the red, and it is pretty slopey down, right? So at this point, needs to hold 159. I would be very upset, and I would probably lose a lot of confidence if we lose 159. What's the top of this one real quick? 159 again. That's, I mean, almost to the dot, right? So yeah, must hold 159. From there, the next must hold really is 154 to at least hold the 8 moving average, right? But look, again, we've said it. You break a line, you kind of curve down a little bit. Hopefully, we get this bounce up, right, from the line. So it's a common thing. A lot of people do, you know, get stopped out, and it's nothing wrong with that, right? But just get ready for a couple things. Either we bounce off and go up, either we bounce off the 8 and go up. I definitely would let go of ship if we go lower than this, and I'll be honest with you, right? And look, the 143 is almost 50% this candle. It's probably a little higher, right? 50% is probably somewhere like right here. But nonetheless, right, it all kind of actually evens out to things I just said, which works out well. So VLDR, nonetheless, we made it after this day, right? Yeah, we made it after this day. So there has been gains after the day, right? It broke 1, 2 lines and actually tested this third one, but clearly failed this one, right? There was 1 test, 2 tests, and then coming down. So hold this, let go if it seems like we're not going to hold the 8, right? And again, the 8 I think was at 154. Okay, cool. 2 more left. SOLO, solo. Okay, so look at that. That 0.185 was a pretty hard line, right? So we made the video on the 10th. 11th and 12th is basically this battle for the 100 moving average, I would say. All the while, we're still over the 8, right? From there, we not only break the 100, we actually break 1 line and come to test it. Literally, did it like close on that line? The high was, it did. It closed out exactly on the line. Nice, 185. I love it. And then look, it failed and worked its way down, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? I can even see this coming down to roughly 164, right? Because it's almost the same story as the other ones. You break an important moving average, you work your way down a little bit, and then you bounce up, right? Again, same RSI story. It got high. It got real high. It got as high as 87, and then just kind of calming its way down. So I will say that LIDAR, VLDR, Solo all do have the same kind of look. So I could see the 3 of them somewhat chaining together, right? So if you're in one, it wouldn't hurt to look at the others just to give you an idea. One might move a little sooner than the other, right? So whenever you see similarities like that, though your money is in one ticker, it never hurts to look at the others. Because again, if one crashes 5 minutes before yours does, you have those 5 minutes to take your money out, right? If one flies 5 minutes before yours, hey, maybe you anticipate something, right? And start moving your stop losses or whatnot. So normally this is the last one, but I actually want to add Polestar to this. So I have this somewhere else. It's now in mine. Man, Polestar is just toying with this 10-12 line, right? So hits it once, hits it twice, not quite this time, right? But all the while, we're still above the 8, which is good. The one sad thing is it looks like the RSI is kind of cooling down, right? So we might be coming down a little bit on PSNY. But look, once it closes above 10-12, there's very little stopping it. You can almost put another line right here at the 1021, but yeah, I would this 1012 line, right? Obviously we made it for a reason a while ago. I'm really not going to make any new lines, right? Because there's not too much. I could make one right here, I guess, right? But yeah, really, we want to break this so we can fill this gap right here, right? Same story, different ticker. So let me see the weekly on PSNY. So actually, this is the first weekly. So last week, we got the first point. So it took all of this days to get the first 8 moving average. And was it actually 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see that? After 8 days, it does some math. The point comes here. Well, obviously, we closed under it. This week, we're over it. That's good, right? There's still not enough data to make these down here, but I am happy to see us over the 8. We need confirmation, right? So this might need another week before we really see some movement. So kind of keep that in mind, actually, if you're doing a daily play on this. But this has been the EV View. Again, subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, trying to do a little more regular view of some of these. So I hope you're learning. This is not financial advice, of course.